Hey guys, welcome back to the Eyes on Leafs podcast. We're on episode 17 now, I believe. We're going to have a little bit of a shorter one here today. Exams are kind of kicking my ass, not going to lie.
Right around playoff time, man. This is brutal.
It's tough.
This is brutal timing.
Gotta lock in.
Yeah, I wish we could do like a more of an extensive one. I think we were planning originally on doing a bunch of like awards and end of regular season awards. We'll see if we can find time to do an episode for that. I'm sure we can eventually.
I'm sure we can. End of the day, this is not our full-time job right now, and we all have other very big commitments and make zero money from doing this podcast. So we get by, and we appreciate everyone's support.
Eventually.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know. It's gonna be really quick. I think today, we're just gonna be looking at the Leafs, and then we're gonna do a playoff outlook on the upcoming series. Obviously, we got the Battle of Ontario after the win against Buffalo last night in a 4-0 win, which was a little bit weird. To me, like, I was almost surprised. Oh, and then also we'll do a look ahead to every other series, but I'm going to keep going with the Leafs now. But yeah, that game last night, I think it was a professional game. They didn't give up too much. Like, I know the shots were like heavy for Stolarz, and I think he made a few nice saves, but I think for like by and large, Buffalo didn't have too many looks. I think we've seen the Leafs play better defensive games, but it still wasn't bad at the end of the day.
It's kind of how you expect an end of season game between a team up here and a team down here to go. You know,
Once the Leafs really took the lead, Buffalo just kind of started falling apart.
I don't know.
Like,
just
I'm not gonna lie,
anything going offensively a lot to me. Like, I kind of felt a little bit surprised when Laurent scored. It was almost like more of a surprise that the puck actually went in, because I felt like they didn't really have that many chances. Which actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, that's a little bit wrong, because that first line, I felt like they should have had 3 or 4 in the first period. They played
insane.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
Ridiculous.
I don't think that everyone's giving 100% effort right now, and they shouldn't be either, because
Can't
I mean,
go
I guess
to the floor all 82.
Exactly, and this wasn't true last night, but at least now you have the Atlantic Division locked up. I mean, you were 1 point away from getting the division locked up, so I don't think anyone was too worried about that. And you're playing the Sabres in Buffalo. Like, it's been the same thing for like the last 2 weeks. They haven't looked great, but I don't think they're trying to look great right now.
I honestly though, like, I'd argue that like they look really solid defensively. I've been really impressed, especially with like this last stretch. Past like 3 or 4 weeks, they have just been rock solid. Stolarz has like 3 shutouts in 4 games. Like,
Yeah, he's great.
That's crazy for Stolarz. Like, he's been playing incredible, and I think we've been Joseph Woll fans for Game 1 starter on this podcast, but like, you can't go wrong, and I think Stolarz has won that job.
It looks like it's going to be Stolarz.
It's also a reflection on the Leafs, though. Mm-hmm. Like, you shut out your opponents 3 out of 4 times in the past, how long has it been? It's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
One of those being Montreal, who are chasing down a wild card spot right now.
That was, I think, one of the best defensive games they played all year, because they gave Montreal absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about the goaltending success this year, how it's the best tandem we've had in a really long time, but we can't ignore that this is also the best defense core that we've had in a really long time. That's not to discredit the accomplishments of our goaltenders, but I mean, the two go hand in hand, and it's great to see both flourish.
Yeah. Dude, they shut the door.
Speaking of Montreal as well, the Montreal versus Carolina game is on as we're recording, so if I'll be giving updates, and if I keep looking back, I just have it on my TV behind me. So obviously a big game for the Eastern Wildcard matchup, so I'll give you guys some updates as the pod rolls along.
Ivan Demidov.
Bouchard level.
Just awful.
That's what I said, dude. Bouchard level back.
Anyways, getting back to the Leafs, I think I want to get back onto the goaltending. I think we talked about Woll and how I think all 3 of us had Woll as our Game 1 starter last week. To me, I still think almost 2-on-1 for Montreal. Missed pass, but it's 1-1 right now, by the way, near the 55 minutes left on the first. But anyways, I think we were all on the Joseph Woll Game 1 starter train, and to be honest, I don't think I've moved off of it that much. It was never because of the way Stolarz was playing. So another really good performance, I don't think sways me too much. I think Seb already mentioned it earlier in this pod, and especially we said last pod, it's not. I wouldn't be mad about whoever starts. I think both of them are good options, and you know it is what it is with whoever we pick. I think Berube, I trust Berube, and I think that I'm fine with Stolarz starting. I'm comfortable with him in that. It will be interesting to see his first kind of taste of playoff hockey, especially here in Toronto. But you know, he's been playing so well. It's hard to knock the guy at all. You know, like I have a hard time finding holes with him being the starter.
It's really like I said, you literally it's impossible to make a wrong decision on who your game one starter can be. Like, you can really go either way. Like, both have been incredible. Anthony Stolarz is just like this has been his best stretch of the season.
Yeah. And
that's insane considering what we saw at the start of the year. But like, I don't know, he's just been incredible recently. And yeah, I if he's game one starter, I really can't knock it. Like it.
Yeah, I think my take last episode was kind of exactly that. Like, I prefer Joseph Wool because the experience, because of how he kept us alive last season. But if you go either way, I don't really care. But I think I'm leaning even more towards the go either way. I don't care. This is like, it's kind of like a media storyline right now, where it's like something that keeps getting talked about and keeps getting pushed. But I mean, there's not much fire behind it because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, like, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, you're picking a goalie who's played amazing this season, and you like, again, I mean, we haven't seen Stolarz in the playoffs, but you know, if Stolarz isn't good in the playoffs, guess what? You have a guy who backstopped you to Game 7 last year and is the only reason you were there in the first place.
100%.
I'm genuinely convinced that if Joseph Woll is in the net for Game 7, the Leafs are in round 2 last year.
Well, they win that game 1-0.
Yeah, he Joseph Woll isn't letting in that hip as a home goal. He's not.
Hell no.
He's just not letting that in. Yeah, I don't know, man. Can't make a wrong decision here. I think Stolarz has been amazing.
Okay, I think also some just points that I think we should mention. I don't think we really need to go too deep into these two, because I don't think there's too much to say aside from, wow, that's amazing. But Matthews, 400 goals on his career, got that last night in the empty netter against Buffalo. And also Mitch Marner, first 100 point season in his career, which, like, to me, I don't think I cared too much about it, just because, listen, I know you guys are gonna laugh. I didn't care too much because Mitch was like that 97, 98, 99 before.
Yeah.
And to me, those like extra 3 points, I'm like, all right, like, dude, whatever. You had a great season regardless. I really don't care.
It's a milestone.
It's more
like,
for him than anything else.
Regardless, it's a milestone. Like, Matthews last year, if he hits 70 goals, that's like.
Yeah, that's
a milestone.
There's no list on the Sportsnet broadcast of 99-point scorers in NHL history.
Yeah,
you know, like, it's a thing.
I will say the difference between 70 and 100 is that a 70 goal scorer, especially in this era of the NHL, is so difficult to come by.
It's unheard of.
You don't see it that often. And you see 100-point players like every single season, so that's why I think the chase of 70 was a little bit different than the chase of 100 for Mitch.
It's true.
It's still to a point though that, like, it is a milestone, and like, even if, you know, we see it every year.
Sorry, continue.
I don't even know what I said.
You said to a point.
To a point. All right, keep it rolling.
I lost my train of thought.
Well, you're saying it gets.
Sorry. No. So sorry. 100 points. Yeah, no. Like, we see it every season, but they were talking about it on the broadcast yesterday. It's like only 160 something players in like NHL history have ever hit 100 points.
That.
Like, it is only 4 players in Leafs history have done it. Like, it is a huge. It's a huge milestone at the end of the day, and I don't blame.
Listen, I'm happy for him, but I don't know. I was like. I wouldn't like that. People were like, "Oh, it keeps the vibes up." I'm like, I don't know if anyone would be like. I don't even know if Mitch himself would be upset if he got out of the regular season.
Nah, okay. Here's where I say that you're talking about me right here. I here's why I think the vibes are important. It's because after that, like, I was even questioning, like, is this a thing? Do the players care about this? Does the team care about this? And then I see that goal go in, and then everybody was so happy. Everybody was elated for Mitch, and I think that matters because you saw how deflated they were after Matthews didn't hit 70, and like you said, it's a different milestone. Like, it is different, but it's still like that end of season milestone. And don't mean to be too much of a conspiracy theorist here, but do you guys think that Matthews, how that last game went against Tampa, do you think that had anything to do with their like
my
lack
dude?
bad
No,
form in the playoffs?
I think it was a lot more. I think if it was a lot more the injuries, I don't think that the vibes were low because Matthews didn't hit 70. I think they got into the first round. And listen, if that last year was the first year that this team was in the playoffs, like that series, I'm like, all right, tough.
Yeah.
You like your top players are hurt. You lose by a goal,
And you still got 7.
And I had this conversation with someone the other day, and they're like, yeah, I wasn't happy with how the media kind of covered the loss because like, oh, they lost by a goal. I'm like, yeah, they lost by a goal, but they lost by a goal for the 8th straight year now. Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of sit there just giving them the benefit of the doubt, but it's just like, Seb, what is your face right now, dude? Oh my god, what's wrong?
I'm gonna cry, bro. I can't do this. I hate last playoff. That last playoffs was the most heartbreaking thing ever.
They played. What I was gonna say is they played so well without your top players that it was like, it's a forgivable series when you haven't lost 8 straight other years or 7 straight other years leading up to it. You know.
Anyways, I think the point is like, it's ridiculous to say that a player hitting a regular season milestone right before the playoffs is going to make or break your playoff performance. But I think that happening helps.
Go ahead.
My Roman Empire was that one play last year in the game against Detroit where Austin Matthews was sitting on 69 goals and he like windmill I don't even know who it was. He like windmill deked some guy straight into the slot, sniped it, and it like went just off the blocker of whoever was in net.
I can't believe how much of this shit I block out.
The boards on the breakaway against Detroit. Do you remember that? He went flying. I can't remember who was in net. He just went flying over them. He went flying back first into the boards.
That one, the one with the like deke sits in my head because like that would have been that being his 70th goal would have been like
wild.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Listen, I do agree that obviously you want to see your teammate hit 100 points. I was just saying to me like I didn't think it was that interesting. Like I don't think they would have gotten into the first round on a sour note because Mitch didn't get his 100. I feel like all of them, including Mitch, would have just been like, all right, like whatever. Like,
I do.
It'll happen eventually, you know.
I do feel like the vibes are a little bit different this year in like that regard too, where it's they're more. There is just like a business kind of vibe to this season.
Well, dude,
I don't know what it is.
Any other year, I'm telling you, they lose that game. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like,
right?
They
don't beat bad teams. They've beat bad teams this year. They make up all those points they lose.
And that win against Carolina again, like they had every excuse
that
to
was
lose that game, and I don't know.
They came.
No way.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't
kind of kicked Carolina's.
The Masters were on, but
I didn't watch it at all. I was out to dinner. I didn't give a fuck. It was a Sunday game.
I'm not gonna lie to you. They kind of kicked Carolina's ass in that game.
Okay.
Kind of kicked Carolina's ass. Like it was.
The Matthews goal was gross.
Freddie.
Yeah, thank you, Freddie.
I saw the shots. Thank you, Freddie.
The thing is, though, is that the thing that about the Leafs though that's so confusing to me, and I guess we'll talk about this a little bit when we get into like their playoff outlook, is like they find ways to like get outshot but still look like the better team. Like they get outshot in almost like every game, but they'll come out of games looking like the better team.
The thing I'd say is that I feel like the Leafs are outshot because they're playing a different style defensively. Like you're clogging up.
Yeah.
We saw Boston do this against us. We see a lot of playoff teams do this against us. You clog up the middle of the ice in your own zone, and the shots from the blue line and the sideboards,
low quality shots,
everywhere else that's not the slot, take them, and our goalies will deal with it. Which is how you should always play in the playoffs, because you're not gonna listen. There's 2 ways you lose in the playoffs. One, stupid decisions, brain farts, Jake Gardiner, Kerfoot, whoever you want to say.
Travis Dermott, Spinorama. Alex Galchenyuk, saucer, puss.
Okay.
Anyways, all right, we got it. The other way is you don't play good net front defense, and you let your goalie get screened, or you let passes in front, and you're soft in your own zone. If you play a tight style, where you clear the front of the net, you don't give the seam pass up, you don't leave guys open in front of the net, your teams will have a hard time scoring against you. If you watch the Leafs against every other playoff series we've had, it's felt like, oh wow, we have the zone time. Boston is more than happy for Mitch and Max and everyone else.
Tyler Bertuzzi.
Absolutely.
Bertuzzi. You can stay all you want along the perimeter zone. The second you get close, you're getting put on your ass. because
I was
you're
gonna
not allowed
say.
to
I was
inside
gonna
Dude,
say.
the-
The
the
third
one-
way.
the
The
one-
third way is you fall victim to
Yep.
that
Yep.
defense, and that's like,
Yep.
oh my god, 2018 against Boston. It's like you are taking, like, the only shots you're taking are from the outside. You get one good
Yep.
chance a game, and then when you finally get a good shot through, you're facing Tuukka Rask. Like, do something. You're
Yeah.
not gonna score
The
like that.
the one series that they won was the series where you could argue they got outplayed in every
Yep.
single game of the series.
Yeah.
But they scored playoff goals, which was get to the front of the net, screen Vasilevsky.
Screen
You're-
Vasilevsky.
Listen, it's tough. That's why playoff hockey is tough. You're going to get cross-checked into the back every single time you go there. But if you go there and you get sticks on pucks or you
Dude.
screen the goalie, you're going to score.
Yep.
The highlight of that series was that they made Vasilevsky
Yep.
look human. They made him look human.
They took his
and
eyes
then they
away.
went-
You know how hard
And
it
that-
is for Ilya Samsonov to
outplayed by Ilya
Like,
Samsonov, dude.
what?
What are you doing? But then they go into the Florida series and they just like revert everything that they did against Tampa and just turned into like the soft team again.
Yeah, and then you lose Matthew,
I don't know.
Matthew Nyes.
Do we want to talk about the first round series now? The
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
I
do it.
think
the
we can move
upcoming
into it 'cause I mean,
the
we've already
upcoming
started
Battle
talking
of Ontario.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I don't know. For me, being born in 2005, I have nothing for the Leafs. No fond memories aside from that Tampa series. So when I'm bored and the playoffs are coming up, I don't go back. You know what? The only game I really go back to where they ended up losing the series, and I still look back fondly on it, is Kasperi Kapanen in the
Oh, yeah.
double overtime with the Brian Boyle no-look pass. That one I love. I love that game so much because that team was not supposed to win that series, and they made it such a good, tight series. But what I was going to say is that I don't look back on any series that this era of the team has played, and I'm like, wow, that was so great, because they were miserable in all of them, aside from the Tampa series. That one I look back on. But
That
all
one.
this to say, when the playoffs come around and I want to watch playoff hockey, I go back to the early 2000s before I was born, and I watch the Battle of Ontario highlights because
Travis Green's Leafs, man. Oh my god.
though
Now he's coaching the Sens.
Darcy Tucker jumping into the bench and fighting Chris Neal while he was on the bench.
Scott Lawton, you know what you got to do, man.
Oh, also Scott Lawton, great game against Buffalo. But heading
Yeah.
back,
Yes,
Good for him.
amazing
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
I
I
see
mentioned
the
it.
vision. I see
I
the
meant to say
vision.
it.
No.
Cat appearance.
Did I? Okay, anyways,
She almost stepped on my keyboard, so I had to grab her.
anyways, you-
Jacob like.
Yeah, I know, like Odell Beckham. But anyways,
Clip that.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you like just Patrick Lalime allowing terrible goals for Ottawa, Cujo and Belfour sitting on their head, fights from Ty Domi. Everything about those highlights I love watching, and I am so fired up for another Battle of Ontario. And listen, I know it's not going to be the same thing. I know you don't.
No,
have-
I argue
No,
it
it's
is.
gonna be fucking
no,
good, man.
Listen. The style of
Buddy,
hockey is not the same.
Morgan Riley
it's not gonna be- it's
cross-checked
gonna be that,
Ridley
but-
Gregg in the head last year.
I get that, but it's not going to be the fight.
It's gonna be as electric, it's not gonna be as violent.
No,
Maybe
that's
not-
what I mean.
okay, maybe-
it won't be
yeah.
as violent,
Maybe-
and I love the violence. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
people
not
wanna get
like-
the fight of the game,
may-
but I love violent hockey. I'm not
Maybe,
gonna lie.
maybe not like arrestable like violence, but it's gonna be a grind like that. This it's gonna be an amazing
Guys,
series. Like they are going.
I
the,
forgot
the
that
rivalry
Ottawa's
will
coach
be
is
back.
Travis Green. Oh
That's
my
what I just
god.
said, bro.
Are
They're
you being
coached
for
by
real?
Travis
I
Green
thought
now.
you brought up Travis Green because he was coaching.
No, bro, I brought up Travis Green because he was a fucking animal.
Yeah, he was an animal. That
I
guy
thought he was
around.
coaching New Jersey, but that's Sheldon Keefe. Oh my god, it's because he coached New Jersey.
He did
but yeah,
last
listen-
year after
yeah.
Lindy Ruff got
He
fired.
did. But yeah, I don't know. Listen, I am so fired up, and I was telling Seb and Jacob this in the group chat, and I was telling my brother too. My brother knows this, and he calls me out for it all the time. He's like, "You are the most negative person ever when it comes to your favorite sports teams." And
Yep.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know what? Tell me a reason as to why this team has given me to be positive about anything ever.
The 3-game
And I
sweep
don't
against
know.
the Ottawa Senators of 2025. That's what...
I don't know. I don't know. I never say this. I asked Seb, Jacob can attest to this. They've known me forever. They know I never say it's different. I never say it's different. I'm always like, these guys are losers.
Yep.
Mitch Marner can't play in the playoffs. Austin
You were
Matthews
saying
is
this
the
last
ghost when
week.
it matters.
You were saying this last week.
I don't know. I think it's different. Okay? And, I might end up shattered like I usually do.
You're gonna get hurt.
Like,
You're
when I was
gonna get
nonverbal, like, there's a famous screenshot within our friend group. Mateo has been nonverbal for 25 minutes.
We'll
and
post
happened
that.
after Pasternak. We'll post it on our social media.
We'll post it.
Seb, you can clip it.
I
We'll
was
post
on
it.
the go. I was on the go train with Mateo after Game 7. We were at Leaf Square. This guy did not talk from the moment we got on that go train. Until, actually, before that, the second that game ended, this guy did not say a word until we got to like Long Branch.
Yeah, I
Not
said,
a word.
that Pasternak took that puck, tucked it past Sammy's pad, and I turned to Seb and the two of our other buddies that were there with, and I'm like, let's go. And we walked back to Union and we took that go train, and I remember Seb is like, well, at least we have cap space for the off season. And the first words I said while being nonverbal for 25 minutes was, we have Bradley fucking Keeler. It's over. That's what I said. And
then he went out and got Chris
Listen.
Tanev.
he got Tanev.
Ekman Larson.
OEL's been pretty solid. Lorentz, I love Lorentz.
And Lawrence, what a pickup.
Stolarz has been great.
Stolarz.
And I don't know. I could be so wronged, and I should have listened to myself up until 2 weeks ago when I kind of felt like started feeling it, like it was a little bit different. But I think this team is different than any other Leafs team that we have watched in the Matthews era.
They clutch up, man.
Man,
they show up when it matters. They win the game when you have to win the division, right?
Listen, like we could talk about, it's regular season, whatever. It's not the same moments, but you know what? Like, if we're being honest, we say, like, you hear it every year from Leaf fans, like, oh, they're playing different. This team is different. Yada yada yada. This team has genuinely played a completely different style from what they've played in the past. How many times have we seen the Leafs have 1-goal games like they've had recently and hold on to it and actually pull out the win? They're like they're like a top 5 team in the league this year in like holding on to 1-goal leads and winning games.
I do want to say that I think that's one of the biggest things for me, and it's, listen, a lot of people on Twitter who don't. And it's mostly on Twitter. I always say to fans, just like Twitter is like the easiest place to go to find people's opinions on stuff. Listen, you can find any opinion you want on Twitter.
For sure.
You just think no one's ever said that in their lives, and you go on Twitter and you look it up and it's there. But a lot of people say, there's Leaf teams who've put up more points than this Leafs team. And you know what? Listen, they won the division this year, and there's no doubt it's a weaker division. Like, the Leafs have put up higher point totals and haven't even been close to winning the division. But we talked about this last pod. Sometimes it's a little bit. Sometimes you have teams who just go on crazy historical heaters, and it happened twice with Tampa, and it happened with Boston. And you know what? Sometimes you throw your hands up in the air, and you're like, "Damn,
what can you do?"
Right? Even
sometimes
the year
it's
when,
just luck.
Even though
what it is.
2022 when the Leafs finished second in the division, and they were I think 4th or 5th in the league. They had over 110 points. Florida won the President's Trophy.
Yep.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
And
like,
Boston, historically great regular season team that 1 year. Listen, like I said, it's different, but the division is different this year. Florida's been injured. Tampa had a slow start, and I think they eventually put it together and they got hot. But we've already talked tons about Tampa and how they look and how different they look now. But I think the biggest thing for me as to why I feel it's different, I think our decor is much more solid than it was last year, especially years in the past. Especially, I think the only decor that comes close, I still think this one's better, was the one that we had when we beat Tampa, and I think that one performed pretty solid. Like, I think you had Mo playing at all time.
If we're talking
best hockey.
If we're talking about this era, this is easily the best decor we've ever had, and I know people have their gripes with our decor because, like, there's the argument that we don't have a true number one.
I agree. I think I think this team we could still have problems with this decor because I still think there's some holes there where I'm like,
in the regular season, I understand, especially with this regular season. Morgan Rielly has not played like a number 1 defenseman.
Yeah.
He hasn't. He has looked better recently. Still, this season has not looked like a number 1.
Defenseman.
But if we're like, we can't necessarily just look at his play from this year exclusively, like this guy, like you just mentioned, in that Tampa series, he was like the best player on the Leafs by far, bar none, easily.
100%.
Like I cannot name another player who had a better performance than him consistently.
The only guy was that was Matthews, and he was dominant that series. He
I like
tons of goals. Like he was great.
Even in the Florida series, Morgan Rielly was probably our best player in the Florida series. Like
he, in Game 5. That's
and,
a goal.
And even last season, like Morgan Rielly was great in the playoffs last year. Power play sucked. He was still great in the playoffs though, and I don't know. I can't be moved by the argument of that. Just knowing that Morgan Rielly is a playoff performer and he shows up and he elevates his game to that kind of level in the playoffs. I think this team has the pieces, man. The goaltending's played amazing. You can make your arguments about how Anthony Stolarz has never been an elite goalie in his career and whatnot, but he's playing elite this season, and that's really all you need. You don't need someone who played elite for 5 years. You need someone to play elite now.
You don't need
playing elite now.
It's been proven time and time again that you don't need an elite goaltender to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need
Jordan
a top 5 guy to
Binnington,
play to win the cup.
Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think being the goalie nerd I kind of am, I think listen, there's a lot of arguments with Stolarz, like he hasn't done it before. And listen, at the end of the day, he could fold in the playoffs because I think every single player in the league who hasn't done it yet it's fair to have that assumption of them because the playoffs are just different.
Yeah.
But listen, I think the way I look at Stolarz is I think his technically he's great. He's not uncontrolled. He's very controlled in his net. He's a big guy. His position is pretty solid. I think he moves pretty well for a big guy, which is always a concern when you get a guy who's like 6'7", I think, on skates or whatever. When you get a guy that big, the thing is always get him moving side to side, get him moving, because he's not going to be that great. He's not going to be that great at skating, and I think he moves fine for his height. And I honestly, like I said, we've already said it. We were on the Wool train. I think Seb said he might be switched over a little bit now, but I mean, I'm still on the Wool train, but I still think Stolarz.
I was still on the Wool train. It's just my train of thought is just you literally can't make a wrong decision.
Yeah,
but
and listen, I think I have never been. I have never ever. I don't think been confident in the Leafs goaltending situation going into the playoffs. I think the last time I was confident was maybe the
Jack Campbell.
I want to say the third series against. Honestly, it might have been Campbell, but I kind of look past Jack and I think back to the second series against Boston with Freddie, because I still at that point I wasn't like Freddie can't play in the playoffs. I was thinking Freddie's been good all regular season. He does some good games and there's a little bit of bad, but I think I was starting to sour on him a little bit before that series, and I think after that series I was like, all right, I'm done with Freddie. But I truly do believe this is the most confident I've ever been in the Leafs goaltending situation. And I think that the playoffs pressure is a thing, but I think with the style that this team has played all year, I don't think Stolarz will see a difference in the way this team plays. I think defensively, especially, this team has been solid in the playoffs, and they changed their game in the playoffs, how they play defensively. And you know what? The problem has never been allowing too many goals in the playoffs for this team. It's always been scoring.
It's always scoring.
And I think the goaltending won't change that much. So I think these guys are used to playing the style of hockey that they're going to play in the playoffs, and I think it comes down again. And this team could change as much as they want. They could bring in. It's going to be the Stars. Whole new roster. But if this core four is still here, it's always about them. And it's always going to be, can Mitch show up in the playoffs? Can Matthews score like he should? Is Willie going to show? And listen, Willie, I think I separate Willie a little bit because I'm like, he's going to be there.
He always shows up.
Can JT produce a little bit more? In the playoffs, I've liked to sell a game, but at the end of the day, when you get paid $11 million, you do have to produce.
You can't score 2 points in a 7-game playoff series when you're getting paid that much. You just can't. You can't.
You need to produce, and it comes down to them. And listen, I think, and this is another reason why I am feeling different, and I said this in the group chat too. For some reason, I, again, never feel this way. I'm always like, God, the core four is going to ghost again. But for some reason, I'm like, you know what? I think they're going to show up this year for some reason. And I don't know why. It's a gut feeling. I feel like
they all
as much as I shit on Mitch, I think the way he's played this year, and there's a clip on our socials of me saying, whatever, who cares? But I agree with Jacob. He has been more physical. He has been more aggressive with the puck, which is what kills me with Mitch in the playoffs. He's too timid. He dances around the outside. Boston, everyone will let you do that, but I think he's been more aggressive. I think he's shooting the puck a little bit more, and he's more physical, and I think this team is going to show up this year.
Okay, guys.
They've all bought into a system that Craig Berube has put in place where like nobody is too good to forecheck or finish your checks. Like nobody's too good for that. Everybody does it. Everybody has a role. You were gonna say something, Jacob?
I was just gonna move us along because we've talked a lot about the Leafs, but we should talk about the Senators.
We should talk.
Can I say one more thing about the Leafs?
Go for it.
Go ahead.
I think the other key part is that they're finally, especially the past 2 weeks, there finally feels like there's some sort of harmony in the bottom six.
Yeah.
The bottom six
100%.
has harmony and it has a purpose. They go out, they forecheck like crazy, and like right now it doesn't matter what lines you have in the bottom six. They're finding ways to score. Nick Robertson has found a different kind of gear this like second half of the season, with just how he's been playing. Like that guy's scoring some pretty timely goals. Steven Lorentz is like it's the most clutch fourth liner I think we've ever had, like in this era.
Better. Like Lawton had a
Lawton looks great too
against Carolina, and
he's played awesome,
and it's like a couple of inches away from being over the line, and you just can't buy a bounce right now. But I was
he's played awesome.
This game in Buffalo.
Just recently he's played awesome.
I think it's interesting that Berube has tried Domi on the left wing with Tavares and Marner, or sorry, Tavares and Nylander. And that third line has looked pretty good with Holmberg, Robertson, and McMahon. I think that's a line that, if Holmberg is playing the way that I thought he would have come into the year, where it's more of a reliable defensive center, then I'm fine with that line, because I think you have Robertson and McMahon. McMahon is if Holmberg can be solid defensively, you have McMahon there, who's, I don't think he's a liability defensively. I don't think he's great defensively. I just think he's kind of average, and that's fine. And then you have Robertson, who I think has been better defensively. He's picked up his defensive game. I just think he needs to cut out the penalties, and that's on that fourth line. I love it. I think Lawton, Lorentz,
they play so good.
There's a lot of juice there, and I think one guy to look out for is Pat Chiretti. I wonder if they decide to bring him back. But with that being said, I do think we should move on to Ottawa, because I think we don't have too much time today, so we're going to try to keep moving.
Sure. Let me just I can kind of introduce us to this. So the Senators, as you guys know, are a team that have kind of been on the cusp of the playoffs for a very long time. I think we all predicted that going into the season that, actually I don't remember, but this is their year. They finally got in. Hold that up, because I actually think you had them in the playoffs, Mateo. I think you might have had them in the division spot, but they're in the first wild card. It doesn't matter. They're in the playoffs for the first time since 2017. It's been a long 8 years for them. What do you guys see in the Senators? I can read out their lineup if you want.
I think the biggest thing that the Senators have going for them right now is no pressure. Like, they could go into the series, get swept, and like, it's whatever, dude. You made the playoffs. Like, Senators fans are elated right now, and I think that's the biggest thing they have going for them, is that there's zero pressure.
With Montreal playing a game that could put them in the playoffs, I had them 8th in the division. Moving on.
Why would you out yourself like that?
I clicked on the article.
Why would you?
I got jump scared by the big bull text that said 8 Montreal Canadiens.
Where do you have the Red Wings?
Why would you expose yourself?
I had Buffalo 7. Do we want to just run through this quickly?
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Montreal 8, Buffalo 7. I was right about Buffalo. Okay, I'm always right about Buffalo. 6, Detroit.
You got that one.
5 Ottawa. I had them I think I had them outside of the playoffs. I was close, and I think I had Detroit ahead of them.
Yeah, Detroit 6. Who was 6? You said Detroit 6.
Tampa 4, not Detroit 4. Where I messed up was Boston, and I remember we argued about this in our very first mock recording. We argued about this, and I had
Boston so low.
I had Boston high. I had the Leafs in 3rd, Florida in 2, and Boston winning the division. I did not see a Boston fall off like that.
I think
yeah.
I had the bet. I don't know actually if I had the best. I can't remember. I don't think we actually wrote it down or anything, but I know I had Boston pretty low.
Anyways,
Okay, sorry.
Ottawa.
Moving on. Yeah.
I guess I'll point out that they have a couple injuries right now. Kachuk is out, but he's expected to be back for the playoffs. Giroux, Sanderson are day to day. I don't know what their status is for the playoffs. I'd imagine they'll play because
I'm
can't
assuming they're
find
all
any.
playing.
I think they're all pretty good.
I listened to a lot of Overdrive on TSN 1050, and Jamie McClellan is he travels on the road with Ottawa, and by what he was saying, it sounds like everyone is pretty healthy. They're just being like overly cautious, especially with Brady.
Good, yeah.
So,
I don't think it matters too much for the Leafs, anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, what you see is what you get. I can read out their
And
lines
it's also
real
with the
quick if you
Chuck,
want.
like he's gonna be nails regardless of how healthy he is, like especially in the playoffs. Like, he's gonna get fired up.
And that's going to be like, aside from the fact that they're playing the Leafs, Brady Kachuk in the playoffs. Like, I mean, that's a marriage that we've been waiting to see for a while.
Terrible. It's going to be so annoying.
Yeah.
It's going to be so annoying.
That being said, Matthew Nyes, now that he's the player that he is, that's going to be the Nyes Kachuk matchup. Oh my god.
It's time to have a dialogue.
Okay, so their lineup is Giroux, Stützle, Zetterlund on the top line.
Yeah.
Kachuk,
Zetterlund
Cousins,
and
Batherson. Sorry, is Zetterlund's Matsolo, you said?
Yeah, I believe so. If I'm not wrong.
He has like 4 points.
Where the Senators kind of get me.
He's played good.
Where the Senators kind of get me is their bottom 6. Grieg, Pinto, Amadio is the third line, and Perron, Gaudette, and everyone's favorite player, Nick Cousins, on their fourth line, who I forgot was there.
Oh, they have Nick Cousins?
It's okay. Nick Cousins has been a. Oh, I can't say that. I was gonna say he's been irrelevant.
Max Domi will beat the shit out of that guy.
You're right.
But Nick Cousins,
I'm not really
bro.
moved by
Nick Cousins,
man.
Nick Cousins is gonna go in like Slewfoot Matthews and like
he doesn't play
break
for the
his jaw
Panthers
or
anymore, man. He's gonna get
like-
suspended.
Oh, Montembeau! Oh my god.
Montembeau made a save.
Love save. I know.
Well, no, I mean
okay,
Ottawa.
and then goaltending is obviously all Martin Forsberg.
Yeah, and the defense is Sanderson, Zub. Sanderson, I didn't even know he had 55 points this year. What the fuck?
Yeah, he's been crazy.
Chabot, Jensen, notably traded for Jacob Chikrin. And on defense, I believe 2 rookies, Tyler Clevin and Nicholas Matenpalo.
My favorite pre-draft take I've ever had was that Sanderson would be better than Drysdale, and I was
My favorite was
Drysdale
that
ranked above Sanderson, and I was right.
my favorite was that Topi Niemela and Roni Hirvonen were going to be better than Tyler Clevin, and one of those players is in the NHL, and he does not play for the Leafs. So
That was not my take. Anyways, yeah. Listen, I think it's hard to say where you're going to get with Ottawa. I think you know where you're going to get in that bottom 6. It's going to be a tough night to play against. I think.
Perron on the fourth line is scary.
Yeah, Perron is. Listen, he's slow, but I don't think the Leafs are fast. It's not you're going to outskate him. I think
he's a
got
dog.
a bottom 6 there who has a mixture of grit and some offensive capability. And that top 6 as well. You have Giroux. I mean, he's been out of it for a while now because they had Ottawa hasn't been in the playoffs, but he does have that playoff experience earlier in his career when he was with Philly and they were making and they made a run to the Cup final. Again, obviously losing to Chicago and all those series against Pittsburgh. Sorry.
Yep.
But I think the question marks to me kind of come with guys like Stützle, where he's a great player in the regular season, but we've seen it here in Toronto, especially with guys like Marner and Matthews and stuff. When the playoffs are a different game, and we'll see what happens when they come around. And for me, also Brady Tkachuk, I've already said he's gonna be a bitch to play against, so it's gonna be hard to control him in the playoffs. But I think that the way you get around that is, you just hit whether it's Matt Stolmy or it's Steven Lorenzo in the bomb states, just poke at him every time.
Someone
he gets to the front of that, glove in the face, get him to lose his shit because it's
get
very
somebody
easy to do.
Get somebody to match his tomfoolery.
Yeah, get it. You don't even need to do that. Just timely, just little whack here. Little spear here.
Get his head out of the game.
Get to the front of the net.
Get
him.
No harm.
He loses his mind, because we've seen him already in the regular season with this team where he sees red and it's over, and he'll run around, he'll try to hurt somebody, and at the end of the day, if you take Brady Tkachuk off the ice, that's Ottawa's best player, and it doesn't matter if it's for 2 or 5. If he's off the ice, you did something right, and you just have to get him off his game.
We got a
Poke
Nazem
at
Kadri
do
him.
whatever you need to do. Just poke at him, get him upset. If Pacioretty plays, then you know what? If he's out on there on the ice with him, a lot of the boards just fucking run into him. He's not expecting that. I am begging this Leafs team, and we saw it last year at opening draw. Domi, first thing he did, game 1 / Marchand. I am begging this Leafs team to initiate the physicality for once in this tenure.
Yeah.
Go out there and piss somebody off.
And this is where
And
they
you know
can
what?
really take advantage of the Senators here and really expose some
not
of their
experienced.
weaknesses. They're not experienced. They and you're right. They don't have that physical edge that I mean, we know just being Leafs fans and watching hockey for the past 8 years that you need to survive in the playoffs.
Yeah. I think they're going to be a physical team regardless. I just think that there's ways to get to an inexperienced playoff team.
Yeah.
You
Especially
can take advantage.
100%. And listen, the thing is with these inexperienced playoff teams is I think a lot of the time they fight until the very last day to get into the playoffs. And with Ottawa, it hasn't really been that way. I feel like they've been locked into that.
They've been locked in for a while.
Like a little bit. Like they've been locked in, whether it's going to be the 1 or the 2, they've still been there. And I don't think I ever really thought they were really threatened by anybody to get that one spot. Like I kind of feels like they've always been that one locked in wildcard team.
There was a short time where we thought they'd jump Florida. We were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
There was a short time where I thought they were going to jump the Leafs. Like they were the Leafs were on a skid.
It was close.
And
It was close.
Ottawa was getting. I think there was a 4-point gap there. And but anyways, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah,
But I just
they're
think that-
they're a young team. They're an exciting team. They are capable of high flying offense, especially even more so now that they have Dylan Cousins on the second line. That's a scary addition for the future.
Oh my
Al-
God!
although-
I mentioned Cousins, I think will be a demon in the playoffs too.
To
Yeah,
be
for sure.
fair, though, the Ottawa Senators have made like a very kind of similar transition in their play style to the Leafs this season.
Yeah.
Both
Okay.
teams have kind of really turned towards this like defensive style.
Okay.
Travis Green has them playing extremely sound defensively. Like you can even see it in their scoring. Like Tim Stützle is leading that team in scoring. He's barely above a point per game. Like they're playing honestly like a fairly similar style to the Leafs. I think honestly like I
should
think
say
the
also,
thing-
Nick Jensen being on that blue line also helps him. I think because he's had some.
Yeah.
experience
he's
in
played
Washington.
great for them this
Yeah.
he's
He's
also
34.
played amazing for them this year. Like people dunk on that trade and like respectfully so Jacob Chikrin now is doing amazing for Ottawa, but like Washington.
Yeah.
Nick Jensen is doing great for Ottawa. They love him there right now. He's from what I've seen Senators fans talk about, he's like really brought a certain kind of stability
Yep.
to their defense. And yeah, I don't know. I think the main difference we're going to see in this series is which team stars
Show up.
can show up better. And I think the Leafs, it's fair to say that the Leafs have the better star power.
Yeah.
I mean,
The Ottawa
yeah,
Senators don't have a guy that can score 60 goals. The Ottawa Senators
sure.
don't really have a guy right now that can pop 100 points and 70 assists.
The Leafs are
It's-
the easy favorite in going into the series, and I'm not saying that to jinx them. I'm saying that because it's a fact. There's nobody who will disagree with you there.
I've realized about the Jinx. I used to do so many stupid things because I'm like, I don't want to change the way I do it when they win, and they always lose. So you know what?
Yeah, fuck
Fuck
it.
the Jinx.
You're right.
You know what? Like
They always lose. They're the favorite going into the series. They should win this series. We know. My God, do we ever know? They are so capable of losing this series. But
Oh yeah. No, listen. As much as I said earlier about this team feels different, this is a tough series. Like, don't get me wrong.
oh
Ottawa,
yeah.
yeah, it's going to be
I-
complicated for sure.
I wanted Ottawa, and it was not because it's Ottawa. I wanted it because it was not Tampa or Florida, who are both absolute wagons. And it's going to be tough because, listen, we've already talked about that forward core. There's depth there that they do have a little bit of experience in the bottom six with guys like Nick Cousins and Perron. And then in the top six, you have Giroux there. There's experience there. And also Amadio, if I'm not wrong, he played games for Vegas in the playoffs, I think.
Yeah.
He was on their cup winner. He was on there.
Yeah.
He was great for them in the playoffs,
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, and then the decor we're talking about. Listen, like Jensen's been great. Sanderson is unreal. I don't see a reason why that guy would falter at all in the playoffs. Like he's just a steady.
He's better than
yeah.
any Leaf defenseman.
Better, 100%. It's not even close.
Totally.
And listen, the thing that comes down to also goaltending. I don't know how to feel about Allmark. I think the Leafs have had a little bit of success against them. I think we saw them once. He played against us once last year.
He's
And that was that
not.
game
He's
where
not their kryptonite.
He has
by
not
any
been.
means, so-
He hasn't been great in the playoffs. Honestly, he's been in the playoffs a few years now,
He's
and
been
every
taking that
time he hasn't been great.
Yeah.
When he played for Boston in the year where they, where he won the Vezina, wasn't that great in the playoffs.
He
Played
was
one
also
game
injured
for
that
them
year, I
last
believe.
year. Wasn't. I mean, that's an issue.
on-
Like
I
he
remember that
he does
being
get injured a decent chunk.
I remember that being on Montgomery a lot. People were really going after Montgomery because they're like, how would you keep playing Allmark when you knew he was injured? And you
That
could
is
perfectly
true.
Find Swayman there.
But that is another knock on Allmark though. Like he gets injured a lot.
seems to be
And you
healthy
can make
right
that
now,
knock
but-
against guys like Joseph Wool. Sorry,
Yeah.
Joseph Wool gets injured a lot. We say he was the only reason they made it to Game 7, but he wasn't there for Game 7 because he got injured. Like the same argument goes for Allmark. Like he's been injured a lot this season.
And listen,
Right
I'm
now
not-
he
I'm
seems
not
healthy,
saying-
but he's been injured a lot this
I'm
year.
not saying run him. I'm not advocating for someone to give him a flying knee or anything like that. But make his life a living hell. Get to the front of the net. If you bump him, and you take it, listen. Game 1, you go in there and you bump him, and you take a
I'm not
2-minute
saying-
goal interference call.
I'm not saying injure him,
I'm
but
not saying injure him.
it's like what?
I'm not. No. Listen.
Jesus.
I have watched enough of these playoff series to be like, you know what? Game 1, just murder people. I don't care.
Yeah,
if
just
it's
go for
don't have to win.
finish your checks. Finish your checks.
Make them feel Game 1.
Finish
Make
your
them
checks.
Feel Game 2.
You know what? I hate to
Tire them down.
I hate to do this on the show, but I'm gonna quote Steve Dangle. But there's something that he says quite often where it's like, Game 1, every shot you take should be a slap shot, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, like why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just, like, wear them out.
Listen,
They're not
Finish
gonna
your
want to block a
checks.
shot by Game 3.
it's gonna be tough. It's just like this is what I'm saying about engaging physically is I think every team, outside of last year, every team that has played the Leafs after the first round comes out of the first round feeling like they did not play a playoff series because they're too soft. Last year I think it was a little bit different. I think even the year before when we beat Tampa was a little bit different. I think the year we beat Tampa, I think was the first real year where we kind of looked like, okay, we could keep up physically. But I'm kind of sick of keeping up physically. Be the more physical team. If we want to talk about how those early 2000s Leafs teams beat Ottawa, it was run
Killing.
over,
Yeah.
murder everybody. And
Very
then better
Florida
goaltending.
Panthers. Very
Yeah.
Florida Panthers-esque hockey.
Yep. And like we already said, it's not the same style of hockey, but make them feel Game 1. And you know what? Also, as much as I said it is what it is about the penalties, I do want to see them come out of Toronto with a 2-0 lead. They have never started a series up 2-0. They've been down 2-0 against Boston. They've split almost every single time. Get out of Toronto with a 2-0 series lead, and then go to Toronto 2, aka Ottawa, where you're gonna have another home game. And
Seven, bro. Honestly, the home ice advantage is crazy this series. They have 7 home games.
7 home
And we
games.
know it's going 7, right? Anyways,
And I
predictions.
predictions. Yeah, okay.
Let's start with this
Listen,
one.
as much as I have loved to say I think they're back, Ottawa in 7. No, I'm kidding. I think
You're a joke.
I'm going to stab you.
You're
I
a joke.
think Leafs in 7. And I
Leafs in
don't
7.
think I think
It's not an option.
if this team plays for their capabilities, they could close Ottawa out in 6, and I think that would be a respectable series. But I don't think this team makes anything easy for themselves, and I could see it coming back down to a Game 7 in overtime again. And I just hope we get another bounce off a skate from on Sanderson or something like it was. I think was it was it off Perbix in Game 6 or Cernak?
Who fucking cares? It went in the.
I think it was
Yeah.
Perbix.
Yeah, I think it was.
But if it
Perbix.
went off Ridley Greig, I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, if it went off Ridley Grid's face. No, I'm kidding. More
With,
than
with,
Riley
with a
did not.
stick.
With a stick. No, I think they win in 7. I think this team has gone through enough now, and I see people making the arguments also that listen, this team made the playoffs so early that if it was like a normal team where they missed the first couple of years, we'd be talking about this team where it's like they're primed to make a run. And while I could kind of see that argument a little bit, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's true at all. I think
Making the playoffs early should have helped your development.
100%. But I think this team's been through enough. I think you're finally getting an inexperienced team. I think we've always gone up against a more experienced team, the better team. I think we're the better team finally. I think I'm confident in the goaltending. I think they play the right way finally. And for some reason, this is just a gut feeling. I have a hunch that the core four shows up and they beat Ottawa in 7.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Ottawa in 6 or Ottawa. Holy shit. Toronto in 6. My bad. I'm going Toronto in 6 on this one for kind of the same reason you said, Mateo. Or really all the same reasons. Goaltending looks great. The core fours bought really into this Berube system this season more than I think we've seen with any like Sheldon Keefe year, if there even really was a system, to be honest. I don't know. The feeling is just like this is business, and all year they've gotten business done. They've found ways to pull out wins. Exactly. Like there's been no tomfoolery this season. It's been the entire year. Let's just get this done. Like, this is business. We're going to get it done and move on to the next one. And, I don't know. I have a really good feeling this season. And, yeah, Ottawa, more inexperienced team. This is kind of their first go-around at it. I think, like we talked about before, you could kind of take advantage of a lot of things with their team. And if the core four shows up, this shouldn't be, like, a difficult, necessarily series for them to pull out. But I'm going to say Toronto in 6.
I'm going to agree with you, Seb. I'm going to go with Toronto in 6. I think that this team is totally capable of doing what Mateo said and coming out of Toronto with a 2-0 lead. I think that Toronto could sweep the Senators. I don't think it's going to happen. I have watched this team enough to know that that's not going to happen. They're going to
never sweep anybody.
What if they did though?
Like the other,
we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's not get too excited. I'm sticking with Toronto in 6.
Yeah.
I not only do I not see it going 7, I just don't see the Leafs winning a game 7 if they get there. It just doesn't happen. Despite all the good things we've said about the Leafs, that's just some things never change. Toronto in 6. Like I said, I'd feel inclined to go 5 or even 4, but I like the Senators. I like what they bring.
I like the Sens too.
They have, despite all the inexperience that we keep crediting them for, they're giving me 16-17 Leafs vibes, if that makes sense. Young, exciting team that can put some pressure on you, that can surprise you. Leafs in 6.
I also want to say, before we move on to the rest of the series, I think one thing that we didn't really talk about, we touched on the core four, but I do think that Matthews looks as healthy as he has all year. Like, I think his game
for
is
sure.
a lot better.
Yep.
And I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was just about learning how to prepare his body properly or what it was, but I feel like recently he's looked a lot better. I think the jump is a little bit more he just looks more like himself. And
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see him in the playoffs because out of everybody on the core four, he has been the most physical. Like he's an animal, dude. He's an animal. Just the season in general, when he like is hitting people in the corners and on the forecheck, he's disgusting. Like he's a monster. You can't get the puck off of him.
Samuelson dumped him in the corner and he got up and
he came back and like man. Like I love that. I love seeing that from your captain too. Like.
Okay, before we move on, also, how do you think this team loses the series?
Stop.
Them to win.
Stop.
No, it's a valuable point of view because we all picked them to win. I want to know,
dude. It's in 7. It's in 7.
They lose in 7.
When does this team ever lose in any other way than 7 games? It's in 7.
What do they do to lose this series? For me, I think it's a couple things. I think goaltending.
It'll be
Holmberg's
fault.
Holmberg's fault. We're picking our players.
They're gonna
Jake Gardiner right now.
It's Pontus Holmberg. Okay, you know what? That's what I was doing in my head. I was going, who is the Jake Gardiner? Who is the Ilya Samsonov that's going to sell this team? Pontus Holmberg's the worst player on this team. There's actually no one else on this team who I actually dislike as a player.
Okay,
Not
you
that even
can
just
shit
like
on
Holmberg.
Pontus Holmberg. You can shit on
here we
Pontus
go.
Holmberg all you want,
You're
but
not
when the,
part
no
of
no
the
no no
fan
no
base.
no no
We
no
don't
no
have
no
time for
no.
this.
Listen, no. Can I finish my point?
No.
Please. Pontus Holmberg just doesn't do anything. But he doesn't make mistakes. That's the thing. Pontus
Busy
Holmberg
nothing.
doesn't make mistakes. He just doesn't do anything.
Okay.
He's not going to make
Alex
the prone
Perfect action.
mistake.
All right,
It's
hurry
going to
up.
be
Who's
Simone
your
Ben.
Jake
It's going to
Gardner?
be
It's
Simone
me,
Benoit.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
be
you're right,
Simone
it's gonna be
Benoit.
Yeah.
I have a couple of answers. If he's in the lineup, Nick Robertson. I'm sorry to say, it will be Nick Robertson.
Oh, you're
He's
right.
going to have some stupid penalty or.
I could also see that. I could also
and it'll
see
be
that.
Nick Robertson. If he's not in the lineup, I am leaning towards OEL or Benoit.
I was gonna
OEL.
say
I could
my
see
sleeper
OEL.
pick
I
is OEL,
could.
taking like
OEL,
a fucking
okay.
Mitch Marner classic puck over glass penalty
Yeah.
or some
Okay.
shit.
And okay, now that we've got our Jake Gardner's out of the way, I think the way that this series goes down if the Leafs lose is the core four doesn't show up again. I think
mean, classic, yeah.
Stolarz.
I mean-
Stolarz folds again, or not again, folds because we mentioned how it could go maybe he just doesn't play one of the playoffs and just like that. But I don't see that happening. But it's the goaltending folds.
I feel like we all know if they lose the series, we all know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be they revert back to their old ways.
Yeah.
They're gonna fold under the pressure. The stars aren't gonna show up, or nobody's gonna be clutch in those clutch moments. We know they lose They lose every series the same way every single time. If they lose again, it's not going to be any different.
It's Scott Lawton having 3 points in 7 games and leading the team in points. That's how they lose.
Scott Lawton, let's go. Anyways,
All right,
do we
let's
want to
move
move
on.
on here?
Yeah. So our series, all of them are locked up aside from the
Washington,
series.
Montreal.
As of right now, there's 8:38 left in the second period of the Montreal game. Still tied 1-1. So if Montreal gets a point tonight, then they make the playoffs. So if they win or lose in overtime, they make the playoffs.
Let's see, I guess. Damn.
And then if they lose tonight, and then Columbus wins tomorrow
Wins.
against Philly, then Montreal makes
They're
the
in.
playoffs.
But here's the
no, Columbus.
But here's
Columbus
the thing.
will-
I think, and
Sorry,
correct me
Alex,
if I'm wrong. I think Columbus's win needs to be in
It does need to
regulation
be a regulation win.
because Montreal
it
has
does
the
need to
Rose.
Yeah. So right now, do we want to just act like Montreal's in the playoffs, or do we want to?
I put likely Montreal. but
I'll assume Montreal.
Okay. All right. Let's go with. Let's run through these quick. You give a brief explanation as to why you think. I just don't think we have the time to run through each roster and as to why. I feel like.
Yeah,
Mateo realized how long he spent on the Leafs.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I got carried away. That's why I was nervous about doing the pod today because I knew the playoffs were coming around and I got too fired up. But yeah,
Zero
okay.
stealth
Washington,
control.
Montreal. Yeah. Seb, do you want to go first or Jacob? Up to
Sure.
you.
I can go first. For this one, if it's Washington, Montreal, I'm gonna take Washington in 5.
Okay.
Listen, Montreal has been probably top 5 hottest team in the league since the Four Nations. They took themselves out of the bottom of the East and just started randomly getting into the wild card discussion. I'm not a fan of Montreal, and I'm not really a fan of what they're building there, if I'm being dead ass. But I mean, they've put it together, I guess. I just listen, man.
I am
okay.
not a fan of what you're building.
No, I mean Suzuki has
team you are building.
before.
I know what you are.
I don't know. I should clarify. Before the season, I thought Nick Suzuki was not really an elite first line
second line
center.
center.
Proven me wrong this season.
He might
Scored
be the real
90
deal.
points this year. Cole Caulfield is still. I don't know how he's going to play in the playoffs. Ivan Demidov they just got, and I mean, we'll see how he plays. I guess is it going to be that crazy? I don't know. Lane Hudson's kind of small, and I feel like he's going to get bullied. The Caps have some, Tom Wilson. I don't know. I just feel like the Caps
Brodus.
have the offense to really take advantage of Montreal this series. Their offensive depth is insane. I don't think Montreal has the defensive chops to take them on.
Yeah.
I just don't see it going very far.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
the
Montreal or Washington.
Washington in 5. Washington in 5.
I have the exact same answer. Washington 5. I think Montreal could get lucky and steal a second game. But honestly, it's for the exact same reasons you said, and Montreal genuinely has a good future. They've got a lot of good pieces.
Not according to me, apparently.
Not according to you, because you don't like what they're building there. But
I don't like what they're doing because it's French.
Yep.
you heard it here first, folks. Au revoir.
No,
Just kidding. We love Quebec. We love Quebec.
We have no Quebec viewers, man. You don't have to glaze. Yeah.
Obviously joking, but yeah. Are you done, Jacob? Sorry,
Yeah, I'm done. I don't really have anything else to say. Yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
All right.
We were joking about loving Quebec.
Exactly.
No, I was joking about hating the French. That was
I don't
a
think he
complete
was.
joke. But listen. I was torn because I said I thought Montreal was gonna upset Washington last pod, if you guys remember. And
I thought
think
you were
it's just
joking.
Because, no, dude, I was being dead serious, and they were so hot, and now I kind of feel like they're playing a little bit nervous. I don't know, like I feel like the pressure sign have gotten to them. I think Demidov looks unreal. Like I think his skating is fantastic. He looks really smooth. His hands are great.
Soft.
A little bit soft. No, I'm torn.
A little bit too soft for my liking.
A little bit too
What
soft
do you
for my.
mean by that, bro?
You know what we've lost in this administration? Hard to play hockey players.
Biden's
Good
America.
Canadian boys.
You know what we have lost in this administration is good hard hockey.
You people, you come to my hockey
see-
team, like you don't play physical enough.
Have you seen that Shane Gillis clip where he's dressed up like Trump? He's like, you know what we've lost? Actually, I can't. I don't even know if I could say that.
I don't think you can. No. I know
we'll move
exactly what you're talking about, and I don't think you
It
can.
was so funny though, dude. Anyways, I think it's tough for me because Logan Thompson's still hurt. Protas is still hurt. I think Washington's a bit banged up, but I think they've had the more and more I thought about it, I think they had enough time to kind of settle back into playing good, solid hockey, get away from the Ovi stat padding, and I think Ovi's been out the last little bit, just like resting, and I think I'm so torn because I liked what Montreal is building. Unlike Seb, and I don't know about. I think Hudson, for me, I don't think he can get bullied. I just think he skates too well. Like I don't think he gets plastered too much. He doesn't allow him to
Fair
work that
enough.
hard.
I do have one point for you to consider. Christian Dvorak is Montreal's
Montreal
second line
just
center.
scored, by the way.
Oh, never mind. Was it Christian Dvorak? I bet it was Christian Dvorak.
Montreal just scored 2-1.
Nice.
So I do. It all comes down to if Logan Thompson's healthy or not. If he comes back and he doesn't play like he was before, then I think that Washington's in some serious trouble because I don't believe in Charlie Lindgren at all.
He's a former Hab, though. He's gonna light up his.
He is.
Well, he's a goalie. He's not gonna light up.
That's a terrible goal by Chekhov. Actually, never mind.
All right, spit it out, buddy.
Washington in 7. I think. The
Well,
Habs
okay,
just-
Washington
7?
Yeah, the thing is, what scares me about Montreal is that Montreal has this aura around them where it's like you get them into the playoffs and you never really know if they're going to be bad.
Dude.
And it doesn't matter the roster. You go to Montreal and you play a playoff hockey game, and it haunts me. Even with nobody in the rink, that stupid fucking Bell Center, it kills me.
You're forgetting something. Who was their goalie last time? It was fucking Carey Price. That's why they went so
Carey Price,
far.
I know,
And Sam
I
Monson
know.
won his time.
Yeah, but I'd argue that their forward core now is better than it was then. Like, I think you get Suzuki.
No fucking way. I'm
Their
taking Carey
defense is
Price.
considerably worse.
It's about the same,
Yeah, I
man.
guess you're right.
I
Okay,
mean,
yeah, I'm still gonna
sorry,
go
yeah,
Washington
minus
in
Shea
7.
Weber, yeah.
I'm still gonna go Washington 7. I just think.
Sorry, I'm
that,
arguing you on your predictions.
No, it's fine. I think Washington 7. I just think that they're injured. A lot of them will come back from injury. I just don't think that they've been playing together enough. And I think if Montreal gets in, I think the games in Montreal will be tough for Washington to pull out. I just think that the electricity in the Bell Center all the time is
It's a
difficult
thing.
to play in.
It's a thing.
It is a thing. And I just think that Montreal makes it a tight series, and Washington eventually overcomes them still. I kind of changed my view on Montreal upsetting them as I've had a little bit more time to think about it. So
No,
moving on.
I think you're right. I
Let's-
think there's a chance that Montreal could surprise a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Carolina,
moving
New
on,
Jersey?
Carolina I think we could run through this. I don't think any of us really believe in New Jersey at all, right?
Carolina in 4.
Okay. So Carolina in 4.
Canes in 6.
Yeah, I'll go Carolina in 5. I don't believe in any Sheldon Keefe coach hockey team. I just don't believe in it.
Might be 7 then.
Sheldon coach.
Yeah, I don't think I believed in New Jersey even with Jack Hughes. I thought they were too soft. I think they're still too soft, and they're missing high-level talent. And I think Carolina will deal with them.
Dude, honestly, with New Jersey, it's just like even before Jack Hughes got injured, from January onward, they have just been completely brutal. They've been bottom half of the league in the past, 4 months now?
The other thing is
started the season really strong, and Jacob Markstrom has been inconsistent this season.
I was going to say, what Markstrom are you getting? Because if you get the if they get the Markstrom, then they could push us.
They could pull, yeah.
Yeah, listen, I'm not sold on Carolina's goaltending. So if Markstrom shows up and he plays well, this could very, very easily be a 7-game series, and it's a coin toss once you get to Game 7 because you never know. But I don't believe in New Jersey as a team, and I just don't see them taking Carolina.
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm going Carolina in 4 here just because I need to get at least one sweep in the first round, and this is the series I feel like is most likely could be a sweep.
That's
Do you
fair.
have anything to add, Jacob, or do you want to move on?
You said it all.
Okay. All right, Florida versus Tampa. This is
Oh my God,
I wanted
man.
Leafs Ottawa so bad is because I wanted Florida Tampa so bad too. I think having the Battle of Ontario and the Battle of Florida in the first round is electric.
Unless you get one of them out of the way early.
And
100%. Nope. Goodbye.
Oh, what just happened?
I sorry. I'm
laptop
just
must
grabbing a
have-
picture of that before it.
I think his laptop died or something.
We'll wait for him to come back. He's got the link, so I think he can just hop right in.
I'll go with mine then, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, Tampa. I'm going Tampa Bay in 7 here. The thing with Florida is that they're banked up. Matthew Tkachuk's going to be back, but is Matthew Tkachuk going to be fully healthy? And I just have Mateo's soulless face staring at me as I'm explaining this.
Hold on, he's calling.
Oh.
I'm back.
Mateo's.
That was so weird. Your computer was starting because of a problem. Okay.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm not
What?
sure. I think honestly it's just been on so much from me studying that it just kind of shut down. I'm coming back right now. If you guys give me 2 minutes to rejoin the call.
Okay, we'll let you go last then. I don't know if he can hear me. He probably can't hear me.
Oh no, he can't hear you at all. I just realized.
Okay, tell him he could go last.
Yeah.
What do you say?
He just said you're gonna go last for Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
again-
rejoin the call in like 2 seconds.
Okay.
Get that guy away from the microphone, man.
That's never happened before. Just everything went black.
Okay, I'm hanging up
yes.
so Seb can make his point.
Yeah.
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
yeah, Tampa Bay in 7 because Florida's banged up right now.
Yep.
I mean, Ekblad is coming back from like a 20-game vacation, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe he's still on PEDs. I'm not sure.
All the better.
Yeah, I don't know. I think 2 straight Stanley Cup Finals gets to you as well.
For sure. It's a lot of hockey to play.
Sergei Bobrovsky has not necessarily been to the same level as years past, although he does tend to turn it on for the playoffs. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think Tampa Bay's like they've have 2 years rest now of not making the Cup Finals. They've added significant depth to their team. Their defense has been pretty solid this year. Vasilevsky looks insane again. Kucherov's disgusting and a maniac as well. Like mentally, he's insane. I don't know. I'm taking Tampa Bay in 7 here.
I'm actually gonna. I need to stop doing the same pick as you, but I'm also gonna do Tampa Bay in 7. I like it's. There's obviously a lot of reasons behind this, but there's kind of this thing where. Okay, welcome.
Terrible.
I'm just gonna. Yeah, this. I just said we both said Tampa in 7. I'm just going through explaining why.
yeah.
I'm just thinking like there's. I just said there's a lot of reasons behind this, but there's this thing where the Cup winner for the last couple of years doesn't get past round 1, which is like, I don't know if that's like, I don't know what that is, but it's almost a superstition
It
thing.
should just be a lot of hockey, you know. Like,
I mean,
hard.
that's what we just said. The back-to-back cup finals.
Cup fatigue is a real thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, back-to-back cup finals, it's a real thing.
yeah,
But Florida's still
by
gonna
the
make it
way,
close.
As I was gone, Montreal made it a 3-1 lead. So,
Oh, okay,
it looks
they're
like
in.
They're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're
but-
winning.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think I agree with you guys. I think I'd go Tampa in 7. I think I went back and forth, and a lot of it just came down to the fact that as much as I think I believe in that those guys from Florida coming back to make an impact, I think Tkachuk will still be Tkachuk when he comes back. Actually, I don't know if I think he'll still be Tkachuk. I just think he'll still be a piece of shit to play against, and I think that's valuable.
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
playoffs. But I don't know what version I'm going to get of him, and you always want to give those like superstars the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh yeah, he'll come back and he'll play fine. I don't know. And I think Tampa
Missed a lot of time, man.
Yeah, Tampa's been really good. I think Bjorkstrand is week to week right now, which could be tough if he doesn't come back to the playoffs. That'd be a big loss.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yanni Gord is still huge for them, though. Like we were just talking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
Their depth has really solidified themselves, and they're just scoring like crazy. And I'm taking them at 7 because Florida's still a damn good team.
They are.
Even with some of their guys kind of banged up, like Tkachuk is
Yeah.
coming back from injury, but I imagine he's still probably not fully recovered. I don't know. I have a feeling with Tampa this year that they've gotten a lot of good rest the past couple of years now. They've made significant improvements, and Vasilevsky looks insane again.
Yep.
I think Tampa's going to
agree
take
with
it
all that.
in the end.
Western Conference.
Okay. Western Conference, Vegas versus Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I think this is a little bit more of an interesting series than I think a lot of people are making it out to be. I think, especially with Kaprizov and
Huge difference.
Eriksson Ek coming back,
Yeah.
that Minnesota team's different.
The big ads.
Uh,
He's
No.
gone again. Oh,
What?
you're still with us? You're still with
What
us.
the hell is going on, dude? Okay. Is this
Okay, let's do this
face
quick
he
so it doesn't
just
happen again.
The face he just made.
Yeah, dude, I was waiting for everything to go black in. Okay, quick. So this thing's gonna crash again. I think that it's an interesting series, but I do think that Vegas still takes it. I like Vegas a lot. I think they have enough depth. The forward core was a little bit of a question mark coming in, but I still think that they have enough there. Goaltending is a little bit scary for me. Aiden Hill has been, I think, okay this season. I don't think he's been that great, and but I think the D core is where they really separate themselves from Minnesota. I think you have a really solid D core there with Pietrangelo, Theodore, Hannafin, White Cloud's there. I feel like I'm forgetting someone now. Well, I obviously I only have 4 there, but
Or McNabb.
McNabb is there. And I'm forgetting one other one, but I just like that Vegas roster a lot. I think that I've seen some people pick upset for Minnesota, and honestly, I can't see it happening. Like Kaprizov didn't seem to really miss a beat when he played, and he came back against Vancouver, scored I think he had 2 points in that game.
Nick Hague.
Nick Hague as well.
Nicholas Hague,
And
dude.
yeah, I don't know. I also think the vibes in Minnesota are pretty good, although they kind of fell off a little bit, and it was looking a little bit dicey there. You have Fleury doing his kind of farewell tour. They had him play overtime last night when they knew that they were locked up for the playoffs. Honestly, I think it was a good season for Minnesota. I think they're in tough with their cap situation, obviously with the buyouts of Parise and Sutter still on the books and
Coming to an end
coming to
soon,
an
though.
end. I think it's pretty successful. You're looking at a team who lost a lot of their biggest superstar, who was having a heart level season up until he got injured. Eriksson Ek is a big part of that forward core, and they lost a lot, and they still managed to make the playoffs. So, yeah. I didn't get the prediction. I think I know Vegas.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Vegas in 6, I think.
Vegas in 6.
Yeah.
For this one, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm going Minnesota in 7 here. Very close series, I think.
Yep.
Again, Kirill Kaprizov is electric.
Yep.
And I think he takes over this series, to be honest. This guy's had the longest amount of rest of all time, and this seems contradictory because I just made that point about Tkachuk, how you don't know exactly how he's going to be when he comes back, but Kaprizov has been playing, and like you said, looks great.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling Minnesota's going to pull it out. I like Philip Gustafsson better than
Hill.
Aiden Hill as well. Their defenses are honestly kind of comparable, man. Brock Faber is amazing. Jared Spurgeon is also amazing, even at his older age. And yeah, I think Minnesota kind of has an underrated offense. They don't necessarily have like a number one guy, but Joel Eriksson X should be like a Selke candidate if he was healthy. Marco Rossi has really developed well this season. He had like a 60-point year.
Even Freddie Gaudreau.
Freddie Gaudreau,
Zuccarello at the
Zuccarello,
at
him and
50.
Kaprizov have like an insane chemistry that needs to be documented in like history books.
I should say.
Yeah, I don't know. I have
if Vegas saw upset here, like I do think Minnesota's a solid team, and I do agree with a lot of the points that Steph's making, especially.
I have a feeling Minnesota pulls this out. Oh, Matt Boldy too, by the way. He's also
the wonderful thing about going last in these things is I can listen to all your points and it helps me decide.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Minnesota in 6. Vegas is a good team. I honestly am just unimpressed with their roster. Like, I mean, that sounds bad, but I mean, they've had a lot of guys I think overperform this year. And I think that's helped them out a lot. And I think their luck's gonna run out.
Okay.
Fair
next wildcard series in the West, which looks like it's gonna be a really good one. It's Winnipeg versus St. Louis, and I mean, it's one of the biggest stories in the NHL this year. Really hot, got really hot after I think it was like the Four Nations break. It was. They just
it was.
Yeah.
They have a couple injuries now, though.
Yeah, they do.
Holloway.
I know Dylan Holloway's out. Yeah, Dylan Holloway's out.
Sorry, availability is going to be for the playoffs. Haven't seen anything on that.
It's just week to week.
Yeah. Listen, I'm kind of torn because I do think that a lot of times with these Winnipeg teams that get hot, they tend to falter in the second half of the season, but they bank enough points where they hold on to first. And this season, it has not been the case. They've been pretty good all year.
Can I interrupt quickly? I am wrong. Dylan Holloway's day to day.
Okay.
Robert Thomas is also day to day.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if those two guys are not playing, it's big for it's a big loss for St. Louis. But I think
Robert Thomas, who leads the league in points since the Four Nations break.
I think that
Holloway was week to week, though. You're right.
I think that Winnipeg. The difference is with the teams, they seem to be more consistent. They, like I said before, they usually tend to kind of fall off after in the second half of the year after having a really hot start, but they haven't been that way. I think that they've looked better as a unit. I think the problem is I have with Winnipeg is you're kind of the Leafs in the West, Canadian team. Who can't
I was going to say.
And
Hellebuck's their Marner.
I mean, yeah. I am. So,
not far off.
Yeah, I'm so torn on this series, and I don't know which way to go. But I think I'm leaning Winnipeg in 7. I just think that they've been different this year. I think that I've said it twice now. They just haven't faltered. I think they've had 2 little blips during the year, and it hasn't. Which in the 82 game season you expect to have more, and they just haven't. And they've been pretty solid. I think at times it's down the stretch where you're like, oh shit, Dallas might catch them. Where in other years they probably would have caught them. They beat Dallas and they kind of fend everyone off behind them. They hold on to that spot. So I think Winnipeg is going to win, and they're also not playing Colorado. Like Colorado, as much as we talk about playoff Hellebuck and how bad he's been, like he's playing some great offensive teams. And I think the whole team has been pretty terrible in front of them. So I am leaning Winnipeg in 7 in a long series. That should be fun.
I'm gonna have to go Winnipeg in 6 here. St. Louis has been incredibly hot this year, and I think the advantage they have over Winnipeg is their offensive depth. They don't necessarily have the same level of star power, although Robert Thomas has been incredible the second half of the season. Their offensive depth is great. They have a pretty solid defense, all things considered. Cam Fowler is incredible for them. We talked about it last show. Parayko has been really good for them this season too. Jordan Binnington always elevates his game in moments where he needs to, especially in the playoffs. But for the same reasons you said about Winnipeg just looking different this year, if I'm going to say it about the Leafs, I'm going to say it about Winnipeg too. Like it goes both ways. They have looked different this year. I'm fairly confident Winnipeg can pull this off. It's a wild card team at the end of the day, and although they have been super hot going into the playoffs, Winnipeg has been hot the entire season, and all around are probably the better team. Hellebuck having like a heart level season. I think you got to go Winnipeg on this. I'm going Winnipeg in 6.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Winnipeg in 5. And it's honestly for all the reasons you just said.
Just to be different.
Yeah, it is a little bit just to be different. Also, I've been saying 6 and 7 for a lot of these series, so I gotta do one shorter one. But yeah, we see a lot teams that are like I think it was mentioned earlier in the show, pushing for the playoffs, and then by the time the playoffs come, they're run out. Obviously. Well, not obviously. Ehlers, I think, is out week to week now with a foot injury, so that hurts the Jets quite a bit. Velarde is out
Honestly,
too.
debatable.
He's been a bit of a ghost in the playoffs. to be honest
Yeah,
with you. He's
like
definitely
honestly,
their martyr.
debatable.
He's
That's
honestly
true.
their martyr.
Yeah, that's true. But at the end of the day, he's a good player, and
Yeah.
not having him hurts them more than it helps them.
Okay.
They're a strong team, though. I like their defense group. I like Connor Hellebuck. I like their forward group better than St. Louis's Jets in 5.
All right, moving on to probably the most anticipated series.
The toughest.
I don't know
toughest
about
series for
anticipated,
sure.
But definitely, I think probably the highest level hockey we're gonna get in the first round, and that is Dallas versus Colorado. And man, I'm gonna be honest, I still don't have it. I tried to have a prediction for every series coming into this pod, and I still don't have one for this series. I really don't know.
I have one.
And
Do
it's
you
tough.
want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I have mine. I'm going Colorado in 6 here.
Oh, what the fuck?
Listen, the biggest thing for me, Dallas's defense this season sucks. Their right side is awful, and they're missing Miro Heiskanen.
Can I give you one
They're
fact before
banged
you
up right
continue?
now.
Sagan's
Yes.
coming back.
Sagan's back.
Yeah.
That does not help their right side of the defense and missing Miro Heiskanen.
I forgot.
You're missing your number one. You're missing your number one defenseman, and your right side already sucks as it is. Their best right-handed defenseman is Ilya Labushkin, followed by Matt Dumba and Cody Ceci. Their right side
Those are all
sucks.
legends.
They
Matt
don't
Dumba
have
is a
Heiskanen.
legend by association. He was linked to us for like 4 years.
He's a former future
But-
Leaf man.
Yeah.
That is my biggest thing is that Colorado completely reshaped their offense and entire team besides defense this season. If we're being honest, they reshaped their forward core and goaltending this season. Mackenzie Blackwood has been great for them, although Jake Ottinger is better. Mackenzie Blackwood has been great for them this season. Their forward depth is incredible. Brock Nelson was probably, I think, just off the top of my head here, might have been the best trade of the deadline, just in terms of pure value. Charlie Coyle is a great third line center. They improved their depth. Martin Nietzsche has been an incredible fit with Nathan McKinnon.
Landeskog coming back.
And they might be getting Gabe Landeskog back, which is huge for the vibes. I just think Colorado has all the right pieces going into this, and although the series is still going to be tight because Dallas, in my opinion, has the deepest offense in the NHL easily. I just think their defense does not have the chops that it had last year to compete with this Colorado team.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Do you want to go? Go?
I can go. I'm really torn. Because you make a lot of good points, Seb. That being said, I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to take the Dallas Stars in 7 games.
Okay.
I just like this team, man. Like, man,
I like Dallas too. It's I think there's a lot going wrong for them.
I agree. Like, there's a lot going on for them, but man, they are fucking like, oh my god, the forward depth is just like I'm salivating just looking at it.
Dude, they have the best forward core in the NHL easily.
Well, probably not by far, but like you're right. Like the defense,
I'd say
is-
by far.
By far.
I think it's by far. They have the deepest. Like now they have Mikko Rantanen too. Like it's
crazy,
they
man.
have the best
Their
offense.
third line on Puckpedia right now is Ben, Johnston, Rantanen,
Yeah.
and there are teams that is better than their first line.
That is the first line of like the Ottawa Senators. I'm sorry.
That's the first line of like 16 teams.
I'm
in
being
this
dead
league.
ass. Like
That's their third line.
uh,
Even their second line's Marchment, Duchesne, Sagan, and don't even get me started on the cap hits. But anyways, you're right. The defense is shaky. They're missing Heiskanen, but I mean, Thomas Harley has really stepped up this season. He's just been incredible. He's been a revelation for them. Don't love Ceci. Don't love Labushkin. Don't love Dumba. Don't love whoever the fuck Smith is. Is this? Oh, it's Brendan Smith.
Brendan Smith. Yeah, Brendan
Yikes.
Smith.
Former first round pick. What?
Former New Jersey Devil.
Man, that's gonna be a tight series, and I won't be surprised if Colorado wins. But for now, I'm going Dallas in 7.
Fair.
He don't know.
Series.
Tralalero, tralala.
Dude.
Short show, by the way. We're at an hour and a half.
Dude, I really don't know. I think that's the deepest forward core I've ever seen. I think that in the
We'll go
cap
with
era,
don't
that's-
know.
Don't know. No, it's tough for me to I love Ottinger. I think he's great. I think a lot of people give him a little bit of shit for the way he's played over the last 2 years, but I think he's a great goalie. I think dude, it's so hard. I think
This
I'm
guy's
leaning Colorado in 7. I think I'll lean Colorado in 7. I just think the decor scares me in Dallas, like you guys were saying. Their goaltending, I think, is better in Dallas, and I think the forward core is better. But I just feel like having to have Lyubushkin, Ceci, or Dumba out there against McKinnon kind of scares me. And I don't think
That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
think that decor in Colorado is bad. Like it's a solid decor there. You got McCarr, Taves.
they have a great decor.
Yeah, I'm not quite. To be honest with you,
Gerard,
I'm
Manson.
not quite sure how Lindgren's fit in there. I know we kind of talked about that when he was in get traded there. I'm not quite sure how he's been doing, but
I think he's been good. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I
think-
mean,
think I'll-
Gerard and Manson too.
I think I'll lean Colorado in 7. And I think that's gonna be a great series. And then the
Welcome to the dark side.
the final series in the West. I think this is the one that I have changed the most.
Has
on.
the most controversy.
I have not changed at all.
I've changed the most on this, and I think it's LA
I have
Edmonton,
too.
obviously, and I think just the injuries that Edmonton's facing right now, I think it'll be too much for them. I think I got LA in
Yep.
6. I think Ekholm not being there is probably, aside from McKinnon and McDavid and Draisaitl, I think that's the biggest loss they could have had. I think Ekholm holds that decor together, especially when you have Bouchard on that pair and you allow him to just stay around and be Evan Bouchard.
It changed the series for me.
And I don't see how Edmonton pulls this one out. Actually, you know what? I do see how they do it. I think McKinnon and Draisaitl will go nuts if that's the only way that happens. But I still don't trust Stuart Skinner. I think the goaltending in LA has been great. Darcy Kemper has been really good. They've been solid as a team defensively. Byfield has been fantastic in the second half of the year. I like Kempe. Kopitar is still there, obviously. They have a lot. Warren Fogle played really well for Edmonton in the playoffs, and he's been good in LA. I think
Played great for
yeah,
LA.
I think they have a lot of good pieces that I liked, and I think if this has to be the year that they beat Edmonton, because if they don't, then I don't know when else they will, and I think they will get it done, and I have LA in 6.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a couple weeks now, and to do
Before the
with some,
increase.
yeah, even before the increase, with some pushback, mind you,
Yeah.
from two
Yeah.
people that are sitting before me right now.
Yeah.
But I really want to say Kings in 5, but I will not be so foolish to count against Connor McDavid. McDavid and Draisaitl. I'll agree with you. Kings in 6. They have home ice, which they have an insane home record this year. 31-5
Yeah,
and 4.
I was
One of
gonna
those
say.
losses is the Leafs.
I was gonna say.
I was there.
Oh yeah, you were there.
I take credit. I wanted to assist on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, I mean the Kings are. This is obviously a very like same thing over and over again. How are you going to bet on Los Angeles when the Oilers have beat them every single time? This is different. Oilers are worse this year. The Kings are better. The Kings are a lot better. Yeah, Kings in 6.
I'm gonna go Kings in 7 for this. Again, the two biggest things that have flipped this for me, my opinion really changed at that Ekholm injury. That's
huge,
probably
man.
outside of McDavid and Draisaitl, that is the biggest blow this team could have on top of an already kind of shaky defense. You lose your best defenseman, and
Thank God for Jake Wallman.
it is.
Well, I think he's hurt
Jake
too, if I'm
Waldman's
not
been
wrong.
good, but yeah, he's banged up. Like, they have so many lingering injuries on this team as well. Like, we don't even know if McDavid's fully healthy, really.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we don't know if Draisaitl's been fully healthy.
They're good.
And like Stuart Skinner, even last year, Stuart Skinner going into the playoffs was playing pretty well, and this year it's just been bad all year. Like Jacob said, the other thing that really flipped this on me was the fact that LA got home ice advantage, and they have been practically unbeatable at home ice this year. If this does go to 7, I honestly don't see how Edmonton can.
I should say,
Like, oh my god, I'm so torn because like I've been the biggest one in this podcast advocating for Edmonton in this series, but losing Ekholm, not having home ice advantage against this Kings team that's so incredibly deep, and having Stuart Skinner being your starting goaltender when he's been so bad this year, and not really having another viable option like Calvin Pickard is not that guy. I'm really torn, and I hate going against what I've been advocating for this entire season. But I just the cards right now, the way they're falling, it's not looking good for it. It's just not looking good for Edmonton. Yeah, I'm gonna go. That being said, though, I still see them taking this to 7 games. Like you can never count out McDavid and Draisaitl in a playoff series.
For me. I think even when they were healthy, I thought Edmonton for sure. And I know, and I got Jacob's point. LA looks a lot better. The home ice thing, all of that. Even if LA had a home ice and the Oilers were healthy, I'd still think I'd have Edmonton. To me, it's just you need Ekholm on that blue line. I don't see a world where they win this series without Ekholm, and I think losing him for round 1 is really tough. And I think
brutal. It's brutal.
And I should say, with all that being said, I also feel like I'm kind of taking away from LA a bit. Like, no, they've been fantastic this year. They've been like a lot better than I think they have been.
No, they've been incredible.
Years. And also, I am kind of scared to bet against McDavid and Draisaitl regardless of the health that they're at, just because they're McDavid and Draisaitl. And I do think
that's what I'm saying. It's so tough.
I do think it's possible that Edmonton still finds a way to pull up this series with just McDavid and Draisaitl, like just taking the series over. But I do have LA in 6. I think it's just their time to get it done, and then it'll be interesting to see, to watch the second round, because I think with the teams we've picked here, I think we have some very interesting second round matchups.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like one of the most entertaining, most watched playoffs in a long time. I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be incredible.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Did all 3 of you join our chat bracket challenge?
Not yet, but I was going to say that I think we'll post all of our brackets on social media.
I was gonna say we should post all of our brackets.
I just haven't gotten around to it just because of how busy I've been with school and everything right now.
Are you guys like
bro?
me?
Just click the link, bro. Just click the click the link and join.
You can't just click the link though, because then you have to sign in, and then you can't sign in on the fucking Instagram link. Oh my god, it's a whole convoluted process.
And you have to use the password as well.
But then once you sign in, it takes you away from the initial your bracket itself. So then you go back to Instagram, you click the link, and you're still not signed in. Then you have to sign in again. You just have to search up the fucking name of the bracket.
All right, dude.
It's a convoluted process. I hate the NHL. Do anything right, God, please, anything.
It's not the NHL's fault, dude. That's just Instagram in Canada. They like blocked sharing links on Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram, do anything right.
So I think tomorrow's last game of the season for the Leafs. Look out for Pontus Holmberg to play 45 minutes and JT
Alex
to play
Steves.
1/5. Well, no, we can't even call anyone up. That's a big problem, dude. Like I was
We can't call anyone.
Honestly, I said in the group chat, and I'm kind of serious. Just JT, and just don't let him step on the ice. I was really looking forward to letting JT rest for this last game, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to. But yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Like I think if you forfeit this game, like go over the salary cap and forfeit.
Has that ever happened?
Honestly, I would take it.
Probably not. I don't even
Has
care.
that? I'm actually gonna look this up. Has that ever? You guys keep talking.
Yeah, I don't know. What do we think the ceiling is for this Leafs team, though? Like now, I'm looking at this run.
Cup.
Oh God.
Ceiling is genuinely like. Oh man, I'm gonna get hurt so bad. I think they can win the cup. I don't think they will. I think they
Cup.
can.
I think
If you're talking ceiling, I think they can.
I have never, ever said this about the Leafs, but I think cup final is where I'm looking, and I think I'm looking through.
Can we look at the lineage to that?
Well, I'm looking at it at what the run would be for them to get there based off the picks.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like you beat.
Can you
beat
please
Ottawa.
just give me a?
You beat Ottawa.
Can you give me a Toronto Winnipeg Cup final?
You beat
please?
Ottawa, and then you go in and you played against Tampa. Who, don't get me wrong, it is great, but it seems like the Leafs have have a little bit more confidence in Tampa. Like, we've kind of had their number a little bit.
Oh my God, I see it. Oh my
and
God,
then
I see it. The Leafs
we
can
play-
beat Washington or Carolina, man. Oh my God, I see it. Don't do
That's
this
what
to
I'm
me.
saying. That's what I'm saying. dude.
Oh
I don't know. We're gonna need the core four to show up for once, but I
no,
don't
this
know.
is no. I played these games before, man. I played these games before. 2019. I remember Game 7. I remember being, oh yeah, we can beat Columbus. I've played these games before.
2023, dude. Florida Panthers were the second wild card team.
Yeah, but that's a different second, dude. Like, people are like, "Oh, we lost." the
Still,
second-"
don't
No,
yo 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 yo
no,
yo.
no,
Don't
no,
pretend,
listen to
but
me,
don't
dude.
pretend like back then you weren't like, oh
No.
my God, we have a pass. We had. Don't pretend
No,
like back
dude.
then you weren't like, we have a pass.
I don't remember.
Oh my
You know
God,
me.
you're
You know
lying.
it.
You're
Dude,
lying.
you know me.
You're lying.
You
You're
know
lying.
me.
I was
You
just
know
You're
me.
lying
happy
right
with
now.
one.
There's no
I have
way.
never once
There's
said the
no
Leafs have a pass. I
way.
have never
There
once
is
said it.
no way. There's no way. I don't believe you. I
have
don't
never
believe you.
once said that.
I don't. No. I just
Dude,
don't believe you.
dude,
I don't believe you. I know what kind of
dude,
man you are. I don't believe you.
You know who I am. I have never once said the Leafs have a path to the Cup final.
I don't
haven't.
believe
I
you.
haven't, dude.
I don't believe
I
you.
haven't.
Who did Florida play round 3 that year? Was it Carolina?
Yeah.
Carolina. It would have been Carolina. Yeah.
Did they sweep Carolina?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
they
swept
swept
Carolina.
Closest sweep of all
Carolina.
time. Yeah.
There's a
Anyways,
path. And who
There's a
do you think
path.
would be in the West? Because I said
Winnipeg. Give me Winnipeg. Winnipeg Leafs Cup final
it'd
with
be
Feed Nations.
Dallas,
I
Jets,
thought- I
Kings,
thought Colorado.
Knights.
Colorado would be good too. That would be a fun
Dude, our
series.
games against Colorado are always unreal.
But that would be a
But,
fun
I
series.
have Colorado coming out of the West, but yeah. I
Give me
don't know,
Iguodala.
Your Iguodala is Winnipeg.
No, my Iguodala is the Toronto Maple Leafs, man.
Oh, yeah, true. Okay. Oh shit.
Mateo has to go study, so we're gonna wrap.
Dude, I just put it into the world that the Leafs have a path to the Cup final. Oh my
It's
God.
over. Senators in 4. That's a wrap, folks. Have a good week. Thanks for watching.
Senators in 7. Jacob, get it right.
Fuck you.
Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed the pod. I have a history exam to study
tired.
for, which is happening tomorrow at noon. So wish me luck,
You're cooked.
dude.
Anyhow.
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the pod.
We might
The Leafs,
we might have a guest for our next one.
Maybe we'll see. The Leafs have made me a believer, unfortunately, and I am terrified. But I'm also excited for this playoffs, and I'm just kind of like, especially now that Montreal's up 3-1 with 14 minutes left in the third. I'm kind of just like, all right, let's just get to the playoffs already. But yeah, I don't know.
Sunday
It's
night.
gonna be electric. Cujo behind me. He's ready. He was always ready for the Battle of Ontario. Hopefully, Wool or Stolarz is as well. So yeah,
Yep.
go Leafs go. Hopefully they don't shit the bed again. Here we go.
Don't choke. Just don't choke.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.
Please, man.
Peace, guys.